Back in the 1800s, absinthe was actually imported into France from Switzerland by Henry Pernod. Eventually, it became something popularized in the States as well. One of the local watering holes, the New Orleans Absinthe House, was one of the leading importers of absinthe in New Orleans for almost 200 years. But over time, it was banned, and the only way that you could get it was through bootlegs and/or going over to Europe. The biggest problem with absinthe is that there are so many myths about it. One being the fact that it's hallucinogenic. Absinthe itself is not hallucinogenic. Wormwood contains a compound called thujone, which was believed to be hallucinogenic and isn't. While it being somewhat of a semi-narcotic, which inhibits the GABA receptors in your brain, it does not make you trip. That being said, it's still banned in the States at more than 10 parts per million in any commercial bottle. However, the problem being is that there's more thujone in sage, tarragon, and various other herbs, and you can actually find it in Vicks VapoRub. The other thing about it, too, is, yes, past absinthes were hallucinogenic, but it had nothing to do with wormwood. It had to do with the methods of alcohol production. Basically, what they did was they fermented moldy grain that was unfit for human consumption and then distilled it. Well, that moldy grain contains ergot, which is a very, very powerful hallucinogenic mold and can often kill you in large quantities. The compounds in ergot which were hallucinogenic would carry over in the alcohol, which is an organic solvent. Nowadays, now that it's legalized, it's much easier to retrieve, but there still are only 3 commercial absinthes out there. There's a Swiss version called Kubler, there's the Lucid, which was pioneered by Ted Breaux, and there's also St. George, done by the Hangar One Distillery in California. Hangar One is the only one that is actually made in the States. The Lucid is still made in France in traditional methods. Basically, you can get absinthe in any type of high-end wine shop. Some stores do carry it, but it's very hard to get. Only several states now are actually distributing it, and so you kind of have to vary from state to state. The laws kind of, are very tricky. You can get it in New York, you can get it in Louisiana, and 3 or 4 other states. Maybe it's more now, because I haven't checked the legislation, but yes, you would have to check on your local state if you can get it imported or not. And if you can't find it, come to the source. We'd love to have you in New Orleans.